This garden hose has been laying on the deck, well, pretty well most of the summer so far. I'd like to put a hose holder up and put it on that so we don't have that problem. But I didn't want to drill any holes in the hardyboard siding. So what I'm going to do is build a freestanding hose holder that bolts to the deck somewhere in this vicinity right about there. So go over to the workshop and take a look at what I have available to do something like this with. So I found some material that says 10 inches long and 1.5 inches wide and a 1/4 inch thick. And I've drilled a couple of holes here and here. Those holes are 8 inches apart. And now I'm going to, these are 1/2 inch holes, I'm going to put some 1/2 inch stock in these holes. And that is going to be, well, probably about 8 inches long. And let's get that done first now. Now there's our 1/2 inch round stock put into those holes. And what I'm going to do is, right now they're just slipped through the holes. I could actually push them all the way if I want. Well, they're a little tight. Those holes are pretty close to 1/2 inch. But I'm going to keep them flush, and I'm going to weld them on the back side because no one's going to see the back side. And I put some little marks on here, on both of them, the same distance out, which I believe was 4.5 inches. I put the marks. The rest of this out here is going to get bent upwards. So if you can visualize that, this will be bent up in this direction. That is going to allow me to lay the hose over the top of the round pieces, and we need some kind of backing on here. I'm going to try to avoid making this too heavy. It is made out of steel. It'd be nice not to have it too heavy. So I'm probably not going to make it solid. I'll just make something that comes up and around to keep the hose in place. And at this end, the hose will be kept in place by these bent up pieces like this. Okay, I took a piece of cardboard here, made myself a template. And I'm going to use some 1/4 by 1/4 and have it kind of follow this contour and weld it onto the sides down here on both sides, right there. And we're going to use this template to try to produce that piece. Now, since the piece that's going up and around on the back is going to have approximately a 5-inch radius, I have created a 5-inch radius on my template. There's my center point. This, as you would remember, was 10 inches long, so 5 inches from each side. We've got a center point, and we took a really big compass and we drew our template here. These sides here are going to be, the sides here are going to be 1.5 inches long, just like that is. And if I put the template on there, you can see that line is about the same size. Okay, so in order to get this done, I've used a ring roller. This is a handy little piece of equipment here. You can see that moving around as I turn the handle. I've already rolled it. It's pretty well to size. These little pieces at the end are going to get welded onto that 10-inch piece of material. And that'll be our backing. So let's take that over and check it out now and see if it's going to work. That's a pretty nice fit. Looks like we're doing okay. I'll just be welding this on the back side probably. I think maybe the back side will be strong enough. If not, I can always add it on the front, but for now I'm not going to put any weld on the front because it'll look better. And we'll be welding that on at both sides. And now the next thing to do is to bend these rods up in this direction like this to retain the hose. I'm going to do that in the hydraulic press. Well, I tried doing both of those pieces together, but it felt like something was going to give, so I went back to just putting one in there. And now if I put the other one in, I got to come up with something very close to the same angle. So I can maybe use this one as kind of a visual template to get the other one right. Well, I don't think they're quite perfect, but once they're 8 inches apart, I don't think anybody is going to tell. They're pretty darn close. Well, nothing's welded yet, but that's how it's going to look when it is welded. And then we can start on making the stand that's going to hold this off of the deck. I found a piece of 1-inch pipe, and it is welded to a 4-inch by 4-inch piece of, looks like it might be 3/8 metal. Got some holes drilled in it for the screws that'll hold it down to the deck. And the pipe, that's up to you how high you want the thing. Actually, I haven't even measured this. It just kind of looked right when I put it out on the deck. Now we're making a collar to fit on that pipe, and we're drilling and tapping for 1032 set screws that are going to hold it in place, so that I can swivel it a little bit if I'm a little bit off with orientation on the deck on that 4x4 pad. I can just turn this and lock it where I want it. All I've got to do now is weld this collar onto the 10-inch bar, and we can go ahead and fit that onto the pipe. Almost forgot we had to put this thing on here. Well, it's welded on now. We'll take it out there and sit it down before we paint it, have a look at it.